are professional facials actually necessary if your routine is solid? No, professional facials are not necessary, period. Professional facials are relaxing, provided it's done by a good facialist. I think that what you get out of a monthly facial is what you put into it. So if you decide very resolutely, this is a service that I am going to pay for, that I'm going to go and enjoy on a regular basis because I like the way that it feels, I like the way that I feel after, that is a goal in and of itself. That's not necessarily a skincare goal. That is a, like a stress management goal. It is a, a self-care goal. Like there are plenty of people that get facials that could not be bothered to do a single thing to their skin when they're at home. And that is totally fine. If you just want to come in, pay for a facial, very indulgent experience, that is totally your prerogative. I completely see the value there. That is not what I would be doing. It's not how I would be spending my time, my money, but I would be very sympathetic to the view that that is in and of itself enough of a reason to go and get a facial. It's just simply not enough of a reason for me to go and get a facial. Not enough of a reason for me to recommend that the average person that's just trying to improve their skin go and get a regular facial. Now, what I do think you could do with a facial, and again, going back to that point about getting what you put into it, out of it, is if you're taking advantage of a monthly facial, which presumably is going to be performed by a skincare specialist, so whether that's an esthetician, aesthetic nurse, or my most recent facial was actually performed by a dermatologist. So, the kinds of people that can give a facial, that varies widely, but generally speaking, we're talking about estheticians. And estheticians are, if they're good, able to speak to home care, able to speak to, even if they're not able to directly perform some of these procedures, I've spoken about Botox before. I do not perform Botox in the state where I live, which is Florida. It is not legal for an esthetician to perform Botox, nor should it be, if I'm being honest. But I should still be able to speak to them because I should be able to understand how they incorporate into, your overall skin journey, how they can complement some of the things that we're doing at home or in the treatment room, so on and so forth. So being able to speak to these things is really important, I think. But the point being that your esthetician should be able to educate, should be able to engage in conversation around a number of different topics, unless, of course, again, you only care about getting a facial because you like the experience of getting a facial. Now, if you want to find a really good esthetician because you're committed to improving the either appearance or health of your skin, and you want to do everything that you can to take action on those goals, then you want somebody that is not only able to perform the services that you're interested in, but is also able to help construct a really effective home care routine. Because, I've said it before, I get compliments on my skin not because of what I've had done, but because of what I do at home and have done, frankly, at home for a number of years at this point. Now, all of those things that I've had done in clinic are absolutely helpful, and I love them, and I think that they're a really great addition to, a really robust home care routine. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. The bulk of the change is probably going to come from your home care. Unless you're doing something very aggressive, like a laser resurfacing procedure or microneedling in a series, or, a series of chemical peels, like stuff like that, you just simply can't do at home. But I'll never forget, I once heard a physician say that the results from topical tretinoin can sometimes be akin to the impact of certain laser treatments. And that has always stuck with me, and I 100% believe it. Now, you can take that and dissect it and say it's not just tretinoin, it's, effective skincare, which, generally speaking, if we're talking about results that rival or match the results of something that you would have done in an office, like with an energy-based device like a laser, that you're probably going to be looking at prescription skincare, right? But it's not just tretinoin. It can be, like for me, it was adapalene. I still use adapalene to this day. I have tretinoin. I use tretinoin. I use it every other day because I'm using tretinoin on the days when I'm not using adapalene. So I still use adapalene. I don't know that I'll ever stop using adapalene because it has transformed my skin so thoroughly and is definitely more tolerable than tretinoin. And plus, it just has like a special place in my heart at this point. So I honestly, I really do think that adapalene is game-changing. I think that it is, as Dr. Dre said recently, definitely a slept-on ingredient. I would take adapalene different gel from CVS over basically every single Korean beauty product, every other launch, all of these things. Literally, I would rather have adapalene and like Cetaphil or CeraVe, and that's it. Then have no adapalene and have, essences and toners and, all these things. Because adapalene is just so transformative. Like these prescription products are so transformative. So again, having all of these things, I've kind of like gone off on a tangent here, but having all of these things in place, these really robust home care regimens, being able to use these products effectively, you're going to get results that simply cannot be achieved with facials. I mean, people, I think, have this very strange and almost like mysterious idea of what a facial can do. People will come in for a facial. Maybe they've never had one before. Maybe they even have had a few, but they'll come in, they're like, so I just have all these wrinkles. I have all of this pigmentation. I have all of this, I have some skin laxity, and it's like, what do you think a facial does? Because it won't address any of those things. Now, you can use products in that facial service that address fine lines and wrinkles, that address pigmentation, that address not really skin laxity, but, skin texture, skin firmness, like it's a little mushy, right? The whole laxity piece. But none of that is going to do anything for you if you're not consistently using similar products or the same products, depending upon the situation. Some brands, like one of the ones that we work with, for example, has a couple products that are only available in Back Bar. They cannot be purchased, even though they're not like chemical peels, but they're still professional versions of some of the at-home products. Now, that of course incentivizes the regular use of a facial service, but at the same time, again, it's not any esthetician worth anything is not going to tell you that a facial is going to fix your wrinkles or is going to address your pigmentation. If they're being honest, they'll tell you that it will probably temporarily reduce the look of certain fine lines and wrinkles, potentially even improve, the appearance temporarily of some pigmentation, because if they're able to really effectively cleanse the skin, maybe even gently exfoliate it with like, a light scrub, like a dermaplaning, for example, that can deliver significant results very, very quickly. But it's not because it's fundamentally changed your skin. It's because it's hydrated your skin. It's cleansed your skin. It's exfoliated away some of those dead skin cells, which are only there probably because you are not doing, all the things at home, which is totally fine. But that in that sense, that monthly facial is going to be doing quite a bit for you, because if you're doing like as much as I'm doing, for example, at home, a facial is not going to do much for you. If anything, it might actually irritate you because you are going to your skin is already being, through its paces on a regular basis, to the point where, I'm using ingredients at home that are more potent than what can legally be used on you in certain facial services. Depending upon your state, depending upon the regulations, they might sell prescription strength products. That'll be because there's a medical director on staff, most likely. But again, in order to safely receive certain very popular skincare services, like certain facial services, I would have to go off of a lot of the stuff that I'm using. Like I wouldn't be able to use the tretinoin, the different, like I would need to discontinue some of these things for a period of multiple days in order to go in and receive this service that they might get like your average person that really just like cleanses, moisturizes, and, hopefully uses sunscreen, looking really glowy, really, fresh faced. If you're doing like all the right things at home and you have, the ability to use a lot of the, prescription strength or higher grade products at home, you're going to look like that on a day-to-day basis anyway. So it is not for a professional like myself that is diligently using a lot of very high strength products at home. It's almost disincentivized, the whole idea of a facial, because frankly, it's not how I want to spend my time relaxing, if I'm being honest. That doesn't mean that, it's not valid if you do choose to use a facial as a relaxation opportunity. But for me, it's not how I would want to spend my time, because I'm not going to be able to get out of my head, because I'm going to be like, what are they using? How are they, like, what is the application technique? Like all of these things, right? Like, because I've seen the other side, right? And so I'm going to be like, no esthetician enjoys giving a facial to another esthetician, because they know you're just judging them basically. And you are, even if you're not, maybe not even judging, but like you're observing, with a much more keen eye than, maybe your standard client. So all of those things still apply. Again, I've gotten so far off topic. Facials are at the core of what a lot of estheticians do, but I think that where you really begin to see the results are in two different ways. One, you take advantage of that monthly facial appointment to have a conversation with your esthetician, and fingers crossed your esthetician is very well versed in product, has a really, really robust ingredient knowledge base, and they can build really effective routines for you that complement those monthly services. But the other piece too is the in-clinic treatments that might still be performed by a facialist, but are going to be, really pushing your skin to transform in appearance or in behavior. So we're talking, chemical peels, we're talking microneedling, we're talking advanced exfoliation, we're talking, in some cases, laser, IPL, etc. Depending on your state, some estheticians are able to achieve additional certification to perform some of these more advanced treatments. Depending upon the situation, that might not be, an esthetician might not be the person that you're going to for that service. But again, all of these more clinical grade, more medical services that can sometimes be provided by estheticians or facialists, those are going to be the things that transform your skin. So being able to find an esthetician that, can give a great facial, but can also speak to all of these other, advanced treatments that are really going to push your skin in the direction you're wanting to take it, that is going to be transformative. It really will be. So in that sense, having a routine conversation and a regular appointment with an esthetician for a facial, that's fantastic. Because the other thing too is that they'll be able to, during that facial, get a very clear sense of the state of your skin and be able to make very effective recommendations. So having somebody that knows your skin very well, that sees you regularly and can either speak to or directly perform a lot of these other advanced services, that is fantastic. Now, if you are somebody that doesn't particularly care to get a facial, for relaxation purposes, but you're considering doing it because you think you're supposed to in order to effectively take care of your skin, absolutely not. I would say dial in your home care first, or take advantage of the appointments with the esthetician to really get them to outline effective routines for you. If they're great estheticians, they're not going to only allow you to use products that they sell. They're going to work with you. They're going to recommend products that they retail because, yes, it's a business. They have to make money, right? But the other piece too is that those are the products that they're familiar with. So they'll be able to maybe recommend a combination of products that they sell, but also the products that you're comfortable using. Like, for example, I think cleansing is extremely important. And I think that to say that you can use a cheap cleanser is to say that, it's sometimes taken to mean that you don't have to think too much about cleansing. From an esthetician's perspective, I don't particularly care if you buy the cleanser, the professional cleanser, right? What I would like you to do probably is purchase a certain combination of professional treatment products like serums, stuff like that. That is a different conversation because, you might be able to very effectively cleanse and moisturize your skin at home. But if you have pigmentation, if you have acne, if you have, fine lines and wrinkles, those kinds of things, that requires some kind of treatment product. And again, they might be recommending the products that they sell because obviously, it's a business, but because they're comfortable with them, because they trust them, because they probably use themselves, right? Some of these products that I'm recommending because I use them at home and I love them. Yes, we sell them, but both things can be true, right? I can be supporting this business by retailing this product while also genuinely believing in the value of it. So it's not automatically a scheme just because they retail the product. Presumably, they retail the product because they love it, because they believe in it. It would be a very strange situation, a very odd choice for a professional to bring in product to sell that they don't like, or that they don't believe in, that they don't use. Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. So are professional facials necessary? No. Are they helpful? And can they be transformative? If you leverage them in the right way. And I hope that I've, in this very long-winded way, explained how you could do that.